Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. This video, we're going to be talking about dungeons, the newest feature in Dominate Life. This was a very exciting feature to build and to actually brainstorm in general, but it was also a lot of work. So please bear with me with this first version, okay? The idea is to keep improving it based on your feedback. So, as any other feature in Dominate Life, you can toggle dungeons on or off based on what you want your experience to be. This is the new option right here at the bottom, dungeons, and you can see when I enable it, we now get a new item on the bottom bar. So when I click that item, I go to the My Dungeons screen, right? Now, to create a dungeon, simply click on the floating button icon, and you can see here that we go to a new area of the app. So at the moment, we only have Introspective Dungeons, which are personalized challenges designed to help you overcome negative habits, fears, or mental blocks. So each dungeon is a journey you create, confront, and conquer the obstacles that hold you back in life. That's the idea of this Introspective Dungeons. Now, in the future, I plan to add more, but this is the first one. So as you can see here, each dungeon, the idea is for each dungeon to have its own theme, which is why we have this purple theme for this type of dungeon, because I want each dungeon to be visually distinct from one another, right? So let's click next. And you can see here the Create Your Dungeon screen. Now you have two options here. You can create a dungeon from scratch by clicking the button, or you also have 10 template dungeons ready to be explored by you. Now you can click any of these, and not only can you customize them, but you can also just go with the option selected. So for example, if I choose the Forest of Gratitude as an example, we can see here the description is an introspective dungeon designed to enhance your sense of gratitude and positivity, right? So if I click that, we see that we have the create your dungeon process, but each field is already pre-filled with the template information. So we can see here the dungeon name, the narrative, which is the backstory for the dungeon, right? And we have the dungeon reward, which is the reward you get for completing the dungeon. Then you press next, and you can see here the dungeon floors. So this type of dungeon, the introspective dungeon, is organized by floors, so you get a sense of progression by completing each floor, basically. That's the idea. And you can see here that this template dungeon has 5 already built floors, right? I don't want to spoil each floor, so let's click on the first one, for example, just to see what the new floor screen looks like. So you have the name of the floor, the description, and the objective. So in this case, is write down 5 things you're grateful for today, no matter how small, right? This is the objective you must complete in order to complete the floor. Then you have a floor monster. So this is the challenge. So by completing your objective, you are defeating the floor's monster, right? So in this case, it's the fog of neglect. Then we have how many repeats. So in this case, it's set to 1, which means you only have to complete the objective once in order to defeat the monster, right? You have the rewards for the floor. You can create your own. You can create multiple rewards per floor. In this case is enjoy your favorite treat or snack as a celebration. And finally, you have the reflection prompt, right? This is a question or questions you ask yourself in order to reflect on your journey when completing the floor. So in this case is, how did listing things you're grateful for make you feel? Did it shift your perspective? And then you can reflect and answer this question when you were completing the floor or after you've completed that floor, right? So if we click next here, we go finally to the dungeon summary screen. This is simply a dungeon on what the dungeon will look like. This is simply a summary, on what the dungeon will look like. So let's press create, and you can see here that we have the dungeon created. We can see here the name of the dungeon, the description, which floor we are currently on, and the percentage of completing that dungeon. By clicking it, you can see also a timeline here. So basically each floor is an item, and you can see the floor you are currently on, which is the floor 1, right? The clearing of acknowledgement. And when you click enter floor, you go to the floor information screen where you can see the objective, the floor monster, the rewards and the reflections. So if we complete the objective, let's say we wrote down 5 things we're grateful for, the monster has been defeated because we only had to complete the objective once, right? And then we can also reflect right here on this floor. How did it make us feel? Then we press complete floor, and you can see that we automatically go to the second floor with a new challenge. And finally, once we complete all the floors, we finish the dungeon, and we have access to the dungeon summary screen where we get a final walkthrough of the entire progress we went through, and we get a chance to add a final reflection for the dungeon as a whole. Okay, so that's the dungeons experience. You can also duplicate or delete the dungeons by clicking these buttons here. And for example, if we delete the dungeon, you can see that we no longer have the dungeon in the My Dungeons screen. Okay, so this is the first overview of the dungeons experience. I really hope you guys enjoy it. It was a lot of work, and I would love some feedback on this, on how I can improve, what you think. Any feedback is appreciated. So thank you all, and I'll see you next time.